What's up, everybody? So, this is gonna be the second video I've reacted to by this YouTuber. This video is gonna be called "I Have Zero Sympathy for College Graduates Crying About Their Struggles." And as you can see the thumbnail, you poor and entitled thing. So, you can see how he feels about college graduates who are complaining. And I'm one of them college graduates a little bit, so I just want to see what he's got to say about it.
Roofing. I enjoy roofing. I've done it since I was a teenager and I love it. It's one of the things that I want to talk about in this video. So enough rambling. Let's jump into this. I apologize for that long intro. My thoughts on the people that are making TikTok videos and YouTube videos and Instagram videos that have their degrees claiming that the system failed them, they were sold a lie, this rigged game set them up for failure. I couldn't see it any further from that, and I'm going to tell you why. None of the people that I knew, and I'm only going to speak from my life experience. I've had a lot of you guys say this in other videos. You need to quit talking about your life experience. That's all I can give is my life's experience. At least with my generation and my life's experience, there was always a rift between blue-collar bastards like me and people that were planning to go off to college to be better.
I did not see this point of view. Never have I seen this point of view. So, I just graduated from college, and it while I was in college, it didn't seem like there were many internships um making it out. It didn't seem like there were too many opportunities, especially in technology, and it's looking like for anybody at all. And it's just entry level is just not a thing anymore. Even mid level, I would say, is not a thing anymore for almost anybody. And I never really thought about how it was in the past being um a blue collar worker, like he said, versus people who always knew they were gonna go to college. So, but there is a difference because it's not like college graduates are making less or anything. They just don't have work at all unless they go and get a job at McDonald's or something.
Always been that rift. The teachers, most adults, and the students that loved the idea of college, they did nothing but talk down, put down, and belittle blue collar workers, blue collar work itself. Everything from the trades like myself to delivering packages, driving trucks, delivering anything or any.
Yeah, but as a teacher, it's hard to even uh, you would you know that teachers go down that route. It's not many people who go down the blue collar route and then become a teacher because requirement for you to become a teacher in most places is a bachelor's degree. So I think that they would naturally teachers would naturally look down on, or they wouldn't understand blue collar work.
Physical work, anything with your hands, they belittled. Talked down to them. We're better than them. And myself and many others outright had these conversations with many people that I know today in my real life that are in that situation, went off to college, fell massively into debt, and now don't have a job. And if they do, it's not a job they wanted. I had these conversations with these people. I told them I thought that what they were doing wasn't a good idea. Let me be clear.
The thing about me though, I don't have any debt, so it's just yeah.
Some things you have to go to college for. I'm not saying all college is a waste, but I'm not a fan of school in general. I don't like the way we do school. Most things, again, from my experience, most of the people that fall into this category that I've known, they went to school for shit that I thought was stupid. I remember many conversations with people that I went to school with where I said, I don't think there's going to be a job at the end of that. Why would you go to school for that? They thought otherwise. In fact, let me tell you about a...
It's not that people were thinking otherwise. It's just when I was in high school, I thought if you just go to college, that whatever degree you get, that there will be some type of job for you. I never really tried to connect the degree to the opportunities part. Not while I was in high school, middle school. Nobody was thinking about that, and then you're just thrown into, I don't know. Maybe some people did, but that seems like some advanced thinking for someone who's 17, 18, 16.
a guy named Anthony. I'll use his real name because I don't give a shit. I hope he does see this. There was a guy named Anthony that I went to school with. I've known him since elementary school. One of the last memories I had of Anthony is I was dropping out to start roofing. Loser, right? Anthony was giving me a hard time because I was dropping out and I was going to go to work with my bros and my dad on the same roofing crew that they were on. I told Anthony, I think what you're going to school for is a waste of time. And I don't remember what it was. I'm not going to lie. I don't remember what it was. I'm not going to make something up. I just don't. But I remember it wasn't something that I thought was a good idea. Thought it was a waste.
But even something like that, it's like you had your family to be able to teach you something. A lot of us really don't, even if they like even if their parents have a job that requires college, and they some things they can't necessarily just teach their, or come invite them to their business or something like that. You had a father who had a roofing business, whereas other people don't have things like that that they can drop out and go and pursue.
He was going to go off to UW, University of Washington. The last thing Anthony said to me, as I talked to him in this mini mall parking lot when I left Target, he was in his car leaving. He looks at me and he goes, yeah, say what you want. Let's see in 10 years from now who's successful and who's not. You're going to end up being a loser like your dad. And he puts his car in drive and takes off. And I was furious.
That just sounds like some type of some type of movie scene. What? Wow.
I was furious. My dad works so hard to keep a roof over our head. Worked his ass off and was so good to people. And to hear people like Anthony disrespect my dad, call him a loser because he was a construction worker, call him a loser, take off laughing with your elitist attitude going off to college. Well, guess what? I saw Anthony about 5 years ago. Guess where I saw him? I saw him at Costco. He was working at the Costco here in Seattle.
This just I'm telling you, this just sounds like a movie plot. I know it could possibly be real. It probably is real, but it sounds something straight out of a movie.
And it was an amazing feeling. You guys might judge me for this, but it was an amazing feeling to see Anthony years later, after he disrespected me and disrespected my dad and took off. To see him at Costco, miserable, in debt, horrible physical shape, depressed. And here I am walking in and bragging about being a licensed contractor for how long, doing good. I'm not rich. Doing good, though. Making way better money than him. Way happier than him. I love what I do. I'm proud of what I do. I wouldn't trade anything for the memories working with my dad and my bros. I wouldn't trade anything for that. To see that jealousy in his eyes was the best revenge I could ever wish for. Last time I saw him 5 years ago, massively in debt to end up working at Costco. I don't feel any sympathy for him. Another example I'll give you is one of my exes. I'm not going to say her name because she's a raging lunatic and she'd probably raise hell if I used her name. But one of the reasons we broke up was because she was going off to school at down in Pullman, Washington. Same thing. What she was going to school for was literally the stupidest thing I had ever heard. It was some degree in, God, what was it? It was something silly. And I told her straight up, I said, hey, babe, there's not going to be any job at the end of this. Like, you're wasting your time and your money. But she had to go off to school, in which she cheated when she was off at school, might I say. I found out later. Same thing. She called me about 2.5 years later. Depressed, crying, because she was not going to school any longer. She was dropping out. Couldn't find a job. Massively in debt. I didn't have any sympathy for her. I told her. And she put me down as well. She disrespected me, disrespected my family. She'd say I was a loser and people that do that work are beneath her. She'd literally say shit like that. That's why we broke up. That and the cheating.
See, so I think this is like like they said this is stories from his own life, whereas I've never I don't see people talking down on people who haven't gone to college and stuff like that too much in my own life. Um but I'm sure there's an age difference between us too, and back then it would have been probably more of a thing because I just got out of college and there is no opportunities. So it wouldn't make sense for me to see that in my life, if you know what I mean. Other than because college is showing to be of no benefit other than probably about a few degrees, but for the most part it's not showing to be of benefit like it was in the past. So people wouldn't have the same arrogant attitudes. So yeah.
But when I hear people that make these videos, all I can think to myself is, you don't have it harder than anybody else. In my eyes and in my mind, you don't deserve success more than anybody else. I've never thought people going off to school for stupid ass degrees were better than me. Nobody did. Nobody I went to school with did. Going back to what I said at the beginning, there was always a rift between the blue collar bastards, or like the everyday Joes, men and women alike, and the people around me that were going off to school with an elitist attitude, thinking that they were going to be some high and mighty king or queen. The real sadness you see in these people's eyes when they make these videos is the sadness that they have to work like everybody else at a normal job that's not pristine and paying buku bucks for minimal effort. That's what you're seeing in these sad women's eyes and these sad guys' eyes. Why was there ever such a war on like normal work? The only men I know today that are doing well are carpenters or people working with their hands. I know 2 barbers that cut hair for a living. They work.
Yep. The only people that I know doing well, I know couple tow truck drivers and stuff like that. It's yeah. He's right about that.
With their hands. They're doing great. Never went to college. I know multiple men, union carpenter, 24 years old, making 53 bucks an hour. Badass truck he just bought. No problem paying his bills. Multiple union steam fitters making insane money. 25, 26, 27-year-old guys.
I'm guessing the difference is that what most of the people don't really have a plan, like becoming a carpenter or b- actually they don't actually have a plan. They just are going to go into like minimum wage work, not trying to become a blue collar worker. They're not. They don't have a plan. It's they're not becoming an electrician. They're not. This is that's the difference between the average worker. I don't see a carpenter as an average worker, but maybe it was different a few years ago, and yeah, but plumbers, carpenters, all of those people are making a lot more money than people with college degrees now. Even if a person with a college degree is in some type of work, they might be making $20 an hour, and like you said, the dude's making 53.
Guys that I used to work with that are framers with just some private framing company doing incredible. I know a couple welders literally writing their own checks. You know how much money they make? And they all have the same story I have because I actually contacted two of them before this video. And I've talked to the others in the last 6 months and we've had these discussions. They had these same conversations I did with their peers in school. Stop acting like these people that went off to college are such victims. They're not victims. Most of these people have and always have had this attitude of being better than the normal people. I've said school's a scam from the beginning for the most part, not always. Most of the people,
Okay, so I get the gist of this video. People with college degrees, I can see it. They act a little bit better than other people. In the past, though, the people who are leaving and haven't even got a chance are not the same people that he's talking about. They never got a chance to act all high and mighty. The people who've been laid off, maybe, um, like he said, teachers in school, teachers are still doing pretty well. It's just that the kids that they have to deal with are getting worse and worse. But yeah, I can see how blue collar workers are not not sympathetic at all to those of us with college degrees. And I have never thought about this before. This is a great perspective changer. I have never seen the layoffs and lack of jobs from this point of view. But yeah, people will definitely have to start thinking about other things. But at the same time, the while you're in school, like you said, the teachers push college so bad that it seems like that is the route to go. And it almost seems like when people don't take that route, that they're taking that route because they're lazy or something like that. So even when you get to the point where you're taking out all this money to go and pursue some type of degree and you don't know if it's going to actually make you money or not in the future, it's because that college was, I don't know if it's still being pushed like that today, was being pushed so much during K through 12 that you just feel like that you gotta jump out there and do something, and they make it seem like you will have something in the future as long as you just get through it. And that just was not the case. But let me know what you think, and I'm out.